It's time for some love and thunder. So Thor Love and Thunder is the latest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the first MCU film in which a character has gotten 4 movies. By the way, before I continue on, just to let you all know, this review is going to contain no spoilers. I'm going to be as vague as I possibly can, so if you're wondering why in certain parts I'm being vague in this review, that is why, so do not worry, you are safe with me. But in terms of the plot of Thor Love and Thunder, Thor is trying to find himself, Jane Foster returns, and there is someone going around trying to extinguish the gods. Alrighty guys, so let's get into Thor Love and Thunder.
Excellent!
I was really looking forward to Thor Love and Thunder a lot. I mean, I love Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is in my top 10 favorite MCU films. I love that movie so much. And also because I'm a big fan of Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi is not only listed in my eyes one of the best comedic directors out there, but I think he's one of the most unique voices for filmmakers out there today. Jojo Rabbit was in my top 10 favorite films of 2019, and What We Do in the Shadows, which if you haven't seen What We Do in the Shadows, guys, please check it out. That was also my top 10 favorite films of that year. So yeah, big Taika Waititi fan. As you all can imagine, when I found out that he was coming back to making a 4th Thor film, I was like, absolutely, give me what this guy's got right now. And I'm happy to say, guys, that I had such a great time with Thor Love and Thunder. The performances here are all fantastic. They're terrific in this movie. Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie, Taika Waititi himself as Korg, and Christian Bale as Gord the Butcher, to which, again, I won't say too much. I really enjoyed the character journey that Thor goes on this movie. The most I can say in terms of Thor's journey in this movie is that he is a character that this time around is trying to essentially find himself. And not only does Chris Hemsworth absolutely nail the comedic moments, but he also nails some of the greater dramatic moments in this movie too. I was kind of worried about Natalie Portman's addition coming back as Jane Foster, because when it comes to the first 2 Thor films, I love the first Thor film. It's a film that I don't think gets enough love, and we're not gonna talk about Thor the Dark World, enough said. I never really got the reason why Jane Foster was in those first 2 films. I get it, she was Thor's love interest, but at the same time, I feel like there just wasn't a lot for Jane Foster to do in those movies. Where here, Thor Love and Thunder changes the game up so much for that character, and honest to God, not only is Jane Foster's involvement with this movie just fantastic, but the relationship that she actually has with Chris Hemsworth here is great. There's some great chemistry, and there are some great moments where the two of them have these really nice character-driven moments that I absolutely loved. In particular, again, no spoilers, there's a part near the end of the film into which man, it hit me pretty good. If you guys saw the trailer, you will all know that she just become the Mighty Thor, and I loved where they took Mighty Thor this time around, or Jane Foster's Mighty Thor. Tessa Thompson as well is great as Valkyrie. I loved all the moments that she has. Taika Waititi as Korg still kills you in this movie, and there's a particular part in this film, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I absolutely loved with what they did with Korg this time around, and of course, Taika Waititi is still absolutely hilarious. I loved Christian Bale as Gord the Butcher in this movie, and honest to God, guys, now here's the thing, there's not really a whole lot of great MCU villains. Even I can admit this as a big fan of the MCU. Christian Bale as Gord the Butcher here is fantastic in this movie. Now, there's more I do want to say in terms of this later on. Not only does he bring such a great menace, but when you hear the reason why he's doing this, it's heartbreaking, man. Not only did I love his performance, but the design and the look of Gord the Butcher I thought was just, to say the least, it was awesome. I really enjoyed where Taika Waititi took the story of this movie. Of course, I can't say too much here, but the themes of the story, what the story means, I really enjoyed what Taika Waititi did, not only with the character of Thor, but where he took the story of this movie without saying too much. Something else that I really dug, in fact, I loved this movie, was Taika Waititi's directing. Even more so, he brings the comedy. If y'all are wondering if this is gonna have more comedy than Ragnarok, I can tell you right now, Thor Love and Thunder is jam-packed with more comedic moments than ever. A lot of people have said that it feels more like a parody of a Thor film. I never got that. I describe Thor Love and Thunder as an 80s comedy adventure directed by Taika Waititi. That is how this movie feels to me. I mean, sure, do not get me wrong, there are spots where the film does feel campy, especially in one aspect, but I loved the camp that was brought into this one particular scene. The comedy in this movie, I would say for about more than most of the time, the comedy is absolutely hilarious. The action sequences in this movie, oh my god, the action is just, to say the least, it is awesome. No spoilers, but there is one action scene in this movie that I thought was just kick-ass. Not only was it very creative, but it was just a beautifully shot scene. I won't say more than that, but this was such a cool moment. I want to talk about the soundtrack really quick, and I bring this up for one particular reason. As you all may know, my main love in music is rock and metal. One of my most overrated bands of all time is Guns N' Roses, but Thor Love and Thunder's use of Guns N' Roses I thought was just absolutely brilliant. Stay for the credits, because let me tell you guys right now, if one of them is going where I'm thinking it's going, I cannot wait.
Well, that's just fucking great!
After I had seen this movie, I had talked to a couple of buddies of mine, and they had all asked me one specific question. Is it better than Thor Ragnarok? My answer to that is, it is not. For the first 40 minutes, it feels like that Thor Love and Thunder is really trying its best to find its footing. Now, after that first 40 minutes, it does find its footing and it gets better and better and better. It just feels like it's a bit messy in that first act going into the second act, but it does get better on. The comedy for the majority of the time had me laughing, me doubled over laughing my ass off. But there were times where, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, there was a great dramatic moment happening, and there were a couple of times where when a great dramatic moment was happening, they do inject a little bit of comedy, and it does compromise what could have been a great moment to like put you right in the feels. One more thing that I will say is this, going on to Gore the Butcher. Now, there's nothing wrong with Christian Bale's performance as Gore the Butcher. In fact, I thought he was awesome. Christian Bale is so good as Gore the Butcher that I just wish there was more of him. Now, do not get me wrong, Gore the Butcher doesn't have a lot of screen time, and they do take advantage of what they do have of Gore the Butcher when he's on screen. I just wish that there was more of this character because I loved him that much.
And here we go.
So overall, I had a great time with Thor Love and Thunder. Do not get me wrong, Thor Love and Thunder has its issues, and it's not as great as Thor Ragnarok is, but at the same time, I cannot deny to you all that I had a blast with Thor Love and Thunder. All in all, I'm going to give Thor Love and Thunder a 4 out of 5. Thor Love and Thunder may not be a top tier MCU film, but man, I cannot deny that I had a great time with Thor Love and Thunder. So comment down below and let me know. Have you guys seen Thor Love and Thunder? What did you all think? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat, so if you all want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the usernames are in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed my review of Thor Love and Thunder. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell for when my latest review goes live. If you guys want to see it in my previous two reviews, please click on it right there or right there. And of course, until my next review goes live, I will see you all next time.